Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good Thursday morning. Yeah, for you guys. Thank you for bearing with us. I had my first instance of New York vermin that aren't people.
Don't talk about me like that.
Yeah, you brought them in here, I bet. Yeah, I had bed bugs. I don't know if you guys follow. Most of you probably don't. If you follow the Instagram on my story, I mentioned that New York is, of course, a dump, as I reiterated in the last episode, and am doing so now. And I woke up one day. I forgot what day it was. I think it was a Saturday, and I woke up completely fucking covered in bites, and it did never happen to me before. Maybe when I was a kid sleeping at a beach house somewhere, and I got hit with mosquito bites or some shit. But nonetheless, it was very irritating, and I ripped apart my skin like an addict of some sort. They say their blood itches when they can't get what they need, and I felt that way, and it was terrible, guys. And I I had never had bed bugs before because I come from a civilized, decent place where people where those things don't necessarily, they don't come around as often because people don't live on top of each other. But I found out that they don't come from being dirty. They don't come from anything like that. So before you say that I live like an ape, even though I do, it didn't come from that. I get ants because of that. No, I have neither. I don't have that either. But
You will.
yeah, right. I Sunday was the day after that. I'm like, all right. I woke up. There was no bites. I'll be fine. I think we're okay. And then I came back Sunday night and just felt itchy, like all over. I got in this room and I was like, I didn't see any of them, but I was like, I just feel terrible, like real itchy, like I don't know, it was strange. And then I woke up on Monday full of bites, and what was it? Tuesday I decided to not sleep here. And now I guess we're good. I guess we'll find out. You'll have to tell me if you go home and see.
Yeah, exterminators and their chemicals are usually pretty effective.
Yeah, right. I mean, and it's really nice knowing that I'm sleeping in a room that was sprayed with pesticides. I really do like that. I like the security it gives me, knowing that there'll be at least no vermin, but I'll be getting cancer quicker.
I'll take the cancer over itchiness and.
Ugh, God, I know. I'll take the low blood cells or whatever the fuck happens when you get. I don't even know what happens, but nonetheless, the vermin are gone. That's what put us a little behind schedule, but we got the stuff out now to you. So happy fucking Thursday, whoop-de-doo. Currently, it's hot button news. The supposedly, I guess, the U.S. is going to default on their debt. It's something that's never happened. And I remember speaking about this a while ago. And I guess they never fixed it. I guess whatever they were trying just didn't. It never. Because I remember when I was reading about it the first time, it was like a lot of Band-Aid talk. It was like, we're going to make it to this next day. Oh, look at this. Haha. We have some technology now. Let's see. Sorry, this microphone keeps getting caught on shit. So this is from CNN. They're talking about, obviously, the same thing I'm talking about. The global economy has been hit by two huge shocks in 3 years. It might be about to suffer a third in the shape of a U.S. debt crisis. After the COVID pandemic and the first major war in Europe since 1945, the specter of the American government being unable to pay its bills is now stalking financial markets. For most, it's unthinkable, perhaps because the consequences are so terrifying. Oh, wow, that's even better. Did we move? Where is it?
Yeah, the Command F thing didn't work.
Oh, gotcha.
I got you zoomed in now.
And it may never happen. There were signs Friday. Well, that's nice. That's nice that they can just say it may never happen. It may never happen. Then why have we been talking about it for so long? Well, it may never happen, right? It's kind of like when they say there's like a record that hasn't been broken, and they're like, it'll never happen. And then it happens, right? Like, this is pre-recorded, so I don't know what will have happened by now. But the Celtics are trying to make a comeback, one that's never been done before. So they're really they're the proxy for this U.S. debt failing, because it might happen, but maybe it won't. Maybe it'll never happen. Maybe we'll be all right. I mean, maybe the fact that the price of anything can change within a week here is okay. That's never happened before. That's not something. I remember when I was in college, good waste of money that was. And I was sitting there in some bullshit finance class, which is all make-believe, guys. I'll get into it in a second, but it's all make-believe. There's not, these guys are sitting around a big table in a dark room, plotting, smoking cigars, because they make the rules. The rules already, if you can skew the rules, if you can just say, there was talk of the U.S. having a recession at one point, and the actual definition of recession was changed. It was on like Fox News. Not Fox News. What's the one? MSNBC, where they talk all about the markets and shit. And they were on there redefining what a recession is. I think the definition of a recession is three quarters of negative growth, which we had. And everyone was like, nah.
So they changed it so it would not be called a recession?
Essentially, yeah. They called it, they're like, this might not be, it could be, this is a recession in other places, but not here. We are Mr. and Mrs. Monopoly, right? Like, that's just how it is. For people to worry about anything in the financial markets, it's literally, especially in America, because, again, the rules are made here. Everyone's worried, the interest rates, get ready for an interest hike, watch out. I guess that's what's coming, which is all that's been happening, right? Everyone's worried. People can't pay for things. Everyone is worried it's almost over. Guys, relax. Our homeless have cell phones. That's pretty fucking cool, all right? We're doing okay. We got money. It's not a problem. It's barely a problem. He even said it may never happen. We're just talking about it hypothetically. It may never happen. And there's plenty of headlines. This one doesn't say it in particular, but there's plenty of headlines that are saying, like, delay debt crisis 3 or 4 more days. You guys can look these up yourselves. Literally, it says by days. We can delay this crisis by a couple more days. That's like filling up a cabinet with, like, tons of stuff, canned goods. Just keep going. And every time you fill it, it gets a little closer to falling over, but you always shut the door just in time. And then one day you open it, and it all finally falls. And it seems like maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. I have very little stock or belief in the monetary system in general. However, I do like cheaper things, which with a whole debt thing happening, things are going to be expensive, more expensive than they already are, and everybody's worried about that. But when you have no enemy declared as America, things are going to be expensive. Do you want, I've asked this question before, do you want kids in a country you've never been in that speak a language that you would never understand? Do you want them to sleep easy at night, or do you want gas under $3 a gallon? That's my question. Which one do you want? Which one would you prefer? I mean, gas is expensive. You got a truck. You bought that brand new truck. You got that raise, right? Now you got to factor in the price of gas. Who the fuck's calling me? Nobody important.
Telemarketer.
Oh, it always is. I feel like that should be something on this show because I get telemarketers so often. I should just fuck with them. Yeah, I start answering. Maybe if we get another one, I'll answer. Because this one's from Illinois. I don't want to answer anyone from Illinois. They got no good news for me.
What do they have to sell?
Yeah. What was I talking about? The downfall of everything. Right? What more is there to do? Let's read some more of this. Why not? So there were signs Friday that negotiations in Washington to increase the amount the U.S. government can borrow were gaining momentum. But if it does, it could make the 2008 global financial crisis feel like a walk in the park. The fallout from a default would be 1,000,000 times worse, said Danny Blanchflower, an economics professor at Dartmouth University, so a nerd, and former interest rate setter at the Bank of England. What happens if the greatest economic monolith in the world can't pay its bills? The consequences are frightful. Well, I mean, look at this. People say you are what you eat. Okay? If you're eating garbage, you're going to look like garbage. You're going to feel like garbage. If you have a country of people who are unable to pay their bills, who's to say that the government isn't next? Who's to say that the government isn't going to be able to scratch together this month's rent? It's kind of nice. It's kind of like a power to the people type thing. You know, knowing that because of the struggle that the people are going through, the country itself may actually devolve, the empire may fall, and the people will they'll reap no benefits. It'll be chaos in the streets and warring tribes all over again. It'll be the Dark Ages. Maybe. I mean, I try to stay optimistic about a thing like this. So what's this graph? It's always nice to see a graph.
It's definitely going downwards.
You're right.
Whatever it is.
Right. But that, I mean, it might not happen. Remember? It might be okay. S&P 500 during the 2011 debt crisis. See, this is how you know that they just slap titles on things. I didn't know there was a debt crisis in 2011. I mean, I was like 12 years old or something, but still. I remember the 2008 financial crisis. That was bad. I remember being a kid playing video games, my parents arguing about the rent because of how expensive everything is. I remember that. 2011, I don't remember any debt crisis happening. My parents bought a house. That was pretty good. They figured it out. You motherfuckers are... So, markets don't always rebound from the uncertainty of a debt ceiling crisis. So this is a similar thing that's happened.
It's a good time to buy in.
Sure. Right. I mean...
Well, after it collapsed. In 2011, it dropped 15% hours before the government ran out of funds.
Right.
So.
And they knew. They had to have known.
Yeah.
Because if not, how are they going to bounce back? They got to short sell it because when
Which brings you back to like that whole insider trading thing with like Nancy
right.
Pelosi. She's probably doubling down on whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I would believe it. I mean, she's probably shorting the S&P 500 as a whole. Because
can you short sell the index funds?
I think you can. Why not? I mean, you can bet. If you can bet on Mongolian horse racing in a draft book, you can definitely.
I'm going to side Google because I need to know if you could short sell
I feel like you have to be able to.
an index fund because it's so many different
stocks
already.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like now if you can short sell, you should probably do that. There's people that still ask me about financial advice, and I'm so far removed from that world. And I couldn't fathom what it would be like to invest in a market right now. One that might, but probably won't default. It probably won't. They're going to keep it going for another 4 weeks or 3 days or whatever they're doing.
You cannot short sell an index fund.
You can't.
Nope.
Oh, all right. So individual. Go throughout
there are like loopholes, it seems.
Four strategies
to short the S&P index.
What about like options? Could you get like a put option on it?
That would be buying a short position.
Right. Wow.
But there are ETFs that track the S&P 500.
You can short
like
those.
SPY, yeah.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Right. You get yourself a nice ETF, one that marks the entire country. I don't know. I can't look at the markets the same way. Because once you look at it as a massive playing field, because that's what it is. I mean, it's every company just
it's gambling.
Playing. Yeah, it's every company trying to be at the top. And if you get on the S&P 500, that's like blue chip. That's high rolling shit. You're in the room where they let you smoke, and the little Asian girl comes over, and she serves you a drink, and you grab her thigh, and you blame it on you being old. You're from the old school, right? Chomping on a cigar. That's who you make your bets when you're playing with the S&P 500, and when you're, of course, a government official who knows all this. So, of course, when this crashes, just like when the economy crashed, when COVID happened, and all the other crises, there's going to be some winners, okay? There's going to be some massive winners, and it isn't you. It's not going to be you unless you listen to what I'm saying. You could take one of these two pieces of advice. You can believe in the fact that the U.S. dollar is strong, and the U.S. economy is the strongest economy to ever exist, and it'll never, ever, ever change. Never once. Not once will hands exchange when it comes to the money that we bring in and make and allow other places to make, and we'll be all right. Or you bet on the absolute demise of the biggest, most monolithic economy that ever existed. So, I don't know. I guess you have to pick a moral ground there. You know?
Both can be true.
Sure. Both can be true. I mean, as long as there's a war to be fought somewhere, at some point. I know now we're only fucking around a little bit in the war game. But if we get involved in any reason, there's going to be some benefits. I mean, people don't want to agree with that, but there's going to be some benefits. We're doing all the war stuff now with none of the benefits. All we're doing is spending money, giving it to another country who we shouldn't be fucking with anyway. If we're being honest, we're nowhere. For us to expand into their territory was a bad idea anyway. Yada yada yada. Doesn't matter. All I know is if we want to start doing a little bit better, if you want to be able to get a coffee for $1 cheaper than you're used to, we got to invade something. We got to do something ASAP. Now, of course, this is a bad thing. This will put a lot of people out of work. It'll make ends tougher to meet for people. It's going to be hard. But one company that doesn't give a fuck about any of that at all, one company that stares a massive debt crisis, a massive financial crisis that'll ruin most of the people who live here, at least half, probably more. One company that doesn't care about that, stares that in the face and says, fuck you, pay me, is Ticketmaster. A lot of people have had a major problem with Ticketmaster at the moment, mainly with what Taylor Swift is doing. Now, if you've listened to the show in the past, if you've known me at all as a person, you know that there's one thing that I can't stand at all, and it's Taylor Swift. I call her a thing because she's kind of like she's like an anemic creature, you know, like I feel like she sits in this blue jelly all day, and they just pump soulless, monotonous ideas about breaking up with somebody, like just these cookie cutter ideas for pop songs. I feel like she just sits in there and it's just like cellophane tubes are just stuck to her head, and they're feeding her these impulses. So then when she wakes up, she's like a fucking, look at her. She does okay. She doesn't look bad, but I tell you, the only reason she looks that way is because she sleeps in a vat of that blue gel, and she comes up out of it like a Dracula.
She could have helped you with the bed bugs. She really knows how to shake it off.
Yeah. That was fantastic. Thank you for that.
Do it.
No, that was great. That was great. She shakes it off because she has a neurological disorder. That's probably what it is. She's going to get early onset Parkinson's. That's what that song is for. And one of the best movies I ever saw was in the first 30 minutes of it. She's in it, and she gets run over by a bus. It's great. I couldn't tell you what else happened after that or before it, but she's in it. It was that movie Amsterdam. I remember not being very good up until that point, but then it got my attention after that. She got run over. But she is, and this is old news, but she just performed kind of in my old backyard, I guess you can say, over at Gillette Stadium, home of the New England Patriots, who I guess blow. I don't know. I don't care about sports. I can't really pay attention anymore. When there's a looming debt crisis, it's hard to really pay attention. But I like sports where people get beat up, obviously, right? Because you got to get tempered. Because when the bombs drop, I'm not looking for a basketball or a football or anything like that.
A bat might work.
A bat, maybe if you want to get disintegrated a half a second earlier than everyone else. A bat might be okay, but I'll say the idea of a concert, right, is already it's a massive ceremony. It's like this, I guess you could call it egomaniacal. It's driven by the desire to entertain, the desire to be in front of people, and we have a massive market for that. And that's something I obviously share, being a comedian, doing this nonsense for you people, talking into a microphone. I obviously have the same aspirations, and anything I say will do nothing about the massive success that Taylor Swift has had and will continue to have. But I will say that the one positive behind her is I commend the fact that she is about her money. She's about her bread. She's not going to fuck around, guys. We just started this episode talking about a horrible, horrible financial disaster that could fucking happen. And this lady is making headlines not for her music, not for her distinct artistry. She's in headlines for two things: her fans and the amount of money that they're willing to pay to go see her. She knows what her price is. The only way you're ever going to get paid your price is if you break away and you're able to do something like this. And it's funny because the money that she's making is nowhere close to the money that Gillette Stadium as a whole is making and all that stuff. I mean, whatever stadium she performs, she's probably getting she's definitely getting a fraction of that.
Yeah, because the surge pricing and
right.
Especially if it's a Live Nation venue, that brings a whole nother can of worms into the whole monopoly of the ticket sales itself. It's
right.
Insane right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously anywhere you go, you want to go see a fucking baseball game, which is already a stupid act. Like to go watch a game
Mets
like
season
that.
Ticket holder here.
Are you? I feel like you mentioned that. I love a baseball game. Don't get me wrong. I love going to a baseball game, but you see so many little funny rituals at a baseball game. I only see them in baseball games, obviously because they have the seventh inning stretch. That's you see. It's almost like a weight has been lifted off of everybody. Everyone just stands up. They're like, no matter how tense or untense the game is. People always say, "Bump, bump, bomb" after Sweet Caroline. You won't find a person not doing that.
That's a Fenway thing, yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, every stadium has their own little thing.
Right. Or they'll do the fucking doom, doom, clap, the fucking we will rock you.
I think that's Wrigley.
Really? So it's specific.
It's pretty specific, yeah.
Wow, I
teams
never
have their
noticed.
own, thing.
Yeah.
And they don't usually step on other teams' thing either.
Interesting.
Like the Yankees, they have their grounds crew will do the YMCA and by the village people, and they'll come out and while they're dragging rakes, they do the YMCA. They don't rake very effectively. I'm a big grounds crew guy. I observe the grounds crew. I get there early and I watch them rake Yankee Stadium. They don't rake well.
They fuck it up.
They're dancing, they're singing, they're doing the YMCA.
Right.
The Mets at Citi Field, they do Lazy Mary. It's an old Italian song. Love it.
Lazy Mary. I'm sure I've heard it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've heard it from some old Italian
I'd
guy.
play it, but we'd get copyrighted.
Right. We don't want that. All the money,
money
we're making, we don't want to not be able to monetize this.
You guys can check it out on your own time.
Yeah. See what I hear in Chicago. What's the Chicago team? The White Sox and the Cubs. Right. But Wrigley's different than the White Sox. See, over there, what their grounds people do is they come out and they start blindly firing into the crowd. That's what they do there. That's one of those silly baseball rituals that it's just like you said,
unspoken rule.
They try not to step on each other's toes. That's their thing. But going out to see anybody or to do anything like that, going to a game, it's obviously become ridiculous. It's gotten to be so expensive. You hear all the old heads, "Oh my God, I used to go to fucking the best stadium ever that ever existed and see the best teams do everything all the time and drink and smoke and eat for 30 cents." And you're like, long way from there, buddy. We're a very long way from there. Especially when you hear about Taylor. I mean, I know people that went, and they're poor. I don't know what they had to do. Like, I don't know what Swifties are doing to get the money. Now, I do know there is this one woman. I think we have an article about her. It's somewhere ready to go. There is this one woman that was able to. She's from Arkansas, and she had a great plan. She had a fantastic plan to get her tickets for Taylor Swift. Now, she was. You got to get ingenuitous, guys. This is very similar to a time like COVID, where money is tight, people are worried.
I think I'm putting up the right article, but
yeah, no, it is. It's the woman from Arkansas. Yeah, let's get her up. Look at that. She's just trying to go to Taylor Swift, guys. Arkansas woman pleads not guilty to selling over 20 boxes of stolen human body parts. Now guys, this is why people are talking about the Swifties. People don't understand. Are there people out there that are selling body parts to go see Ed Sheeran? I don't think so. I think that Taylor Swift has a hold on these people, especially this woman here in Arkansas. I mean, an Arkansas woman has pleaded not guilty to charges. She stole body parts from medical school. Who wrote this? From medical school cadavers.
I thought you were fucking up, but then I reread it. And
what the hell? Was she the one who wrote it? In jail. I'm from Arkansas, and I stole. Okay.
The charges is she stole the body parts from medical school cadavers and sold them through Facebook for $11,000.
That's pretty good. $11,000 for dead body parts. I mean,
they were free.
Right. That's all profit. This woman is. I mean, get her in the office to fix the debt problem. If we started just boxing this free shit up, what do they call that when they people like recycle?
Upcycling?
Upcycling. Yes. Perfect. This is upcycling. This is free shit that they're getting, that this woman is getting. She's getting from a job. She's getting paid to do this.
The most pure version, because you can't get more upcycled than dead to alive.
Right. So, Candace Chapman Scott. All right. If you have three names, you're a fucking idiot. You're from,
or just a bad person.
You're from some stupid
Lee
town.
Harvey Oswald.
There you go. What's the other one? John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth.
You're an assassinator. You're awful. You're an idiot, and we're going with that. So a 36-year-old.
Meta world peace.
There you go. There's another one. A 36-year-old former mortuary services worker is accused of selling 20 boxes of everything from skin to skulls to a man in Pennsylvania, according to a federal grand jury indictment unsealed by a Little Rock court on Friday. All right, so she's an opportunist is what I see. She's getting a little money on the side. I used to work for a bread company, a bakery, and every once in a while you take a couple loaves for yourself. It's nothing. It falls off the truck. You've heard the phrase that it falls off the truck, and you resell it or you take it for yourself. You do whatever you want. This lady, she is doing something commendable. I don't know if she has a family, right? I can't imagine someone like this.
Should we Facebook her?
Having anybody that cares about her or that she cares about. However, if she did, then this story might even be more commendable because how far she's willing to go. I mean, 11 grand, guys, that's not easy to come by in today. And it was all so that her and her friends could go see Taylor Swift. Now, Scott was charged. I like this part. Scott was charged with 12 counts of mail fraud. wire fraud, and interstate transportation of stolen property. So they looked at this woman who's selling dead people, pieces of dead people that she gets from her job, and said she's mailing things fraudulently. That's the charge we're going to get her on. We're going to get her on that. We're going to get her on wire fraud, and she's driving these dead things around, all right? She's interstate trafficking dead things. I mean, it doesn't get much better. The legal system doesn't get much better. How they haven't specified, is selling dead people not illegal? Or is it just the mail part that's bad? Is it the part that she's like, I'm selling kitchenware, and people are getting arms and hands?
Is that just how she was caught, or it was like...
Right. Maybe it could be that. It could be the fact that they opened... Maybe one day she wasn't selling an arm, and instead she was selling actual kitchenware that was marketed as dead people stuff. So that's the fraud. Maybe it was switched that day, and they caught her changing the body parts and calling him something else. I don't know. It's just funny to me that there's not like selling dead people. She didn't get convicted for selling dead people. She got convicted because she lied about what she was selling. That's what's funny to me. Now, this part is good. After one of the company's scheduled pickup days, she messaged the owner of a Facebook group. Now, I like this. This is perfect for modern technology, social media. I love it. A Facebook group explaining how she acquired the corpses. So she spoke to the owner of the... Okay, got you. How she got... So, because obviously it's like if you're selling drugs, you're moving weight, you got to make sure you know where it's coming from. Like, this is Colombian, this is, heroin from Vietnam. You want to make sure it's coming from the right place. Named Oddities, the private Facebook group. That sounds like a little beach town store. Like you go to a little beach town, Nantucket.
Yeah. Like a little fair or something.
Yeah, Named Oddities. It's like a plate that's painted real fluorescently, or a plate.
Is it named Oddities or it's named Oddities?
Oddities, right. I don't know. I don't think there's
no quotation, so it's...
Named Oddities. Interesting. I just love that. I hope it's called Named Oddities. We could probably find it if it's still around. Check it out for us. Go to the private Facebook group that contains about 380 members and bills itself as a safe way to shop. That's in quotes, though, so that's got to be on there somewhere. That's nuts, dude. 380 people on there buying and selling. I mean, guys, the world is for sale. Buy it, sell it, whatever the fuck you can do. I mean, they say that if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And it seems like this woman is on that track. Her and all the 380 other members. All them together, they're able to, it's like a yard sale. I wonder what they do with them. Do they decorate their homes with them like Ed Gein back in the day?
She really must have done her research of where to post this, though.
Sure. I mean, you can't just go willy-nilly. You can't, I don't know if Reddit, I'm sure you could go to Reddit, 4chan. So I follow your page and work and love it. So she has a page and work. What's the work? What's the work on her page? Or on, no. She's talking.
Writing that to the owner
Got you.
Named Oddities.
Right.
Named Oddities.
Just out of curiosity, would you know anyone in the market for a fully intact, embalmed brain? Yes. Yes, I do. Of course. And if you want to go to Taylor Swift this weekend, you'll send it to me promptly.
Why is sick spelt incorrectly in parentheses?
Intact. I don't know. I think that means something. That's some like literary... I'm not sure what that is.
Is there like a footnote to
It could be. It
an
might be
image?
something.
Like if I click it, are we going to get the brain?
Fully intact. Imagine he's like, well, it wouldn't be as... it's not as... what's the word I'm looking for? Like you go to Pawn Stars and it's worth more money. It's not worth as much as a fully exploded brain. That if you
If
could,
it was Tina Turner's brain.
sure, if it was a fresh brain signed by the person that it came from, it could be good. Now Scott sent pictures of 2 brains and a heart. Could be anybody's. Who knows? Somebody died. I mean, the fact that people are even worried about the organs of a person that died, they keep them in, right? I don't know anything about embalming. They keep them. They keep the organs in,
No,
or
they got you like a fish.
they pull it out. So anyway, so fuck it. Might as well make. It's like when you go to Dunkin' Donuts at the end of the night and they're throwing out all the donuts that nobody ate. Just give them here. Give them. Sell them yourself. Do whatever you want. It's kind of the same fucking thing, but it's better.
It's also. I'm starting to read ahead, but the man offered $1,200. I'm beginning to think, she only made 11 grand. That's 10% of her revenue right there. She didn't do this very much.
Right. Right. It's not the end of the world.
Those, numbers here. Granted, that's like 2 brains. That's at least 2 dead people.
Sure.
And a heart. Could be from one of those people. Could be 3 dead people.
That's not bad. $1,200 for 3 dead people. I mean, did those? I wonder if those dead people even had $1,200 to their name when they died.
And then did she only do this 10 times?
Because that's not the end of the world. 10 times you sell.
Say how many?
Over the course of 9 months, Scott proceeded to ship the man. This is one person: an ear, an arm, lungs, livers, kidneys, hands, breasts, penises,
One customer.
fetuses.
All one customer?
I guess it is. Fetuses,
He's the bad one, right?
skin, skulls, and 1 whole human head. In exchange, he paid over $10,975 in 16 separate PayPal transfers each time Scott returned the rest of the remains cremated to the school. So the indictment does not name the buyer, but yeah, you wouldn't want to defame the person who bought these things. But separate state charges connect the case to Pennsylvania resident Jeremy Lee Pauley, another one with 3 fucking names.
Yeah. We were onto something early on in this article.
You mean to tell me a 40-year-old that lives in Pennsylvania alone doesn't have the right to go ahead and buy some body parts?
3 first names at that, too.
What the fuck was he doing? Pauley was charged by a Cumberland County criminal court with 4 counts of receiving stolen property. Stolen property. I love that they call it that. Intending to participate in unlawful activity and abusing a corpse. Police were tipped off to Pauley's purchases in June 2022, according to a press release announcing his arrest. And human organs and human skin resting in 3 5-gallon buckets in Pauley's basement. I mean, those buckets, they are great, right? I mean, they don't sell them at Home Depot for no reason. You got to have a few buckets
They're in
lying
every
around.
aisle.
Right. You got to have them around for something. And if you're going to be the guy who's keeping body parts in his garage, buying them from a woman in Arkansas, who's just trying to make her way to the Taylor Swift concert. I mean, we should really be blaming Ticketmaster for this. This goes all the way back to Ticketmaster, Taylor Swift exploiting her fan base and dragging them to things like this. And that's the real problem here. I feel like this lady it's the same logic you use for drug dealers and drug users. Okay, the drug use it's a victimless crime here. This guy, he's the one who wants to buy the body parts. This woman is the one who, for whatever reason, has a connect and is willing to make it happen. And we commend her for that. We commend her for that on the show, and hopefully we can hear a little bit more about her at some point. Now, another person who seems to be having a tough time right now, there was a gentleman who I think shot his roommate. Yes, shot his roommate for accusing him of eating the last Hot Pocket. Now, I love a Hot Pocket, guys. I do. I don't know if it's worth shooting a person. It's pretty short. Yeah, it's about that size. Which is good. I mean, what else is there to say, right? I mean, there's not much. And this is in Kentucky. This is in Louisville, Kentucky. This is the cream of the crop of people. We go from Arkansas to Kentucky. Very, very impoverished places. Education system isn't great. They got to kind of scrape along, figure out a way to make things happen. Now, I think this could be here or there. I don't know. But I think this guy was also saving for the Taylor Swift concert. I think, right? Because
times are dire.
exactly. Hot Pockets aren't exactly cheap, right? At one point they may have been, but they're not, and they only give you 2 in a box. It's kind of bullshit. I would always get upset as a kid. We'd get Hot Pockets, and I'm like, there's only 2 in here. I'll eat this right now. So you got to get a lot of them. So when somebody opens up and they're like, fuck, dude, I had one more ham and cheese Hot Pocket ready to go. I was going to burn my mouth, and you go, and it's gone. You might, especially when you're saving up for Taylor Swift, you might, act drastically. So
He shot him in the buttocks, too.
okay, so it's kind of like a warning. It's like bang, just kicking the ass, man. What are you doing that for? A man in Kentucky's largest city is facing criminal. I like that they put that. Kentucky's largest city, like anyone cares. Facing criminal charges after allegedly shooting his roommate during a dispute over a Hot Pocket. Just one. Clifton Williams, 64. Oh, I love when a person who's almost a senior or is almost a senior citizen or is a senior citizen commits a violent crime. I love that because they're like toward the end of their life and they're like, fuck this.
I'm going to look for the mugshot. I got to see it.
Clifton Williams. He was 64. He was arrested on assault charges Sunday.
Oh, wrong. Sir.
No worries.
I can't see my mouse. Hold on.
We're making it happen, guys. What's most important is knowing that some people are unrelenting. They're unrelenting when it comes to their food, especially us, because we have...
It was a short article, but it's somewhere.
It's not the end of the world. This guy, all that matters is people are so on edge and struggling so hard that they are willing...
I'll make up for it when I find his mugshot
What's his name? Clifton Williams. Clifton Williams, 64, shoots man, Hot Pocket. Love it. I love it. I love that because it's massive, dire measures. It's people.
Oh, that's not what I expected him to look like.
What does he look like?
Okay.
I thought he'd be some old like dreary guy from like the South who's like, yes,
What
my daddy.
ethnicity were you thinking? Clifton Williams, I thought for sure,
A black guy.
100% a black guy. It's a white dude.
Clifton Williams.
Where did this
Interesting.
picture just go?
Oh, wow. That looks like a Clifton, though. That looks like it matches. That guy looks like he's drank quite a bit. Can we play that?
Yeah, let's play it.
Let's play it.
We have to.
Will we be able to hear it, or do I need to put the TV volume up? Hold
I
on.
don't know where the audio's going through right now.
Probably through your headphones. No worries. No worries.
But that's his picture.
He looks great. I mean, he looks like a guy who wakes up to drink and nothing more. And when you fuck with a guy like that, you cannot fuck with a guy that looks like that. That guy's 64 and he's got a roommate. That's terrible.
And he's smiling in his mugshot.
That's awful. 64 years old and you got a roommate? Why don't you just live in a van alone down by the river like Chris Farley said? Instead, now you're sitting in jail or you got a... I think he got out on bail. It was like a $7,500 bail. But fuck that other guy, too. Why are you eating the Hot Pocket? Who said it was yours? Everyone knows living with roommates is a disaster. You don't want to be 64 years old dealing with a fucking roommate. It's the smallest thing. Smallest thing can ruin it all. And that's what happened to this dude. I love looking at... how many come in a pack now? 5? Is that what that says? 5 in a pack.
So, I think that's coincidental. I think that's an actual advertisement. I gotta move this over.
That's fantastic.
I think that's an advertisement for Hot Pockets on the side of the article.
That's just opportunistic. That's an opportunist. That's
Google
perfect.
doing its thing.
Look at that. An attorney for Williams did not immediately respond to a request for a comment. Not sure why. According to a police citation, the two roommates had a physical fight over the frozen sandwich. Mr. Williams got mad. He ate the last Hot Pocket. He states allegedly began throwing tiles at him. The victim attempted to fight back and threaten Williams, but he left the document.
The document Williams.
Oh, but he left. The document states. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Williams got a gun and followed the roommate outside where he shot him in the buttocks, the police document said. He gets shot in the ass. Under Kentucky law, a person convicted of second-degree assault, conviction can be sentenced to 5 to 10 years in prison. The state defines a second-degree assault convict as someone who intentionally causes physical injury to another person by means of a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. Okay, well, again, why are you fucking around with the Hot Pockets, man? This was this guy's Hot Pocket. You can't fuck with a guy who's got very little to live for. He's got very little to live for, old Clifton. He's 64. He's got the yellow-white mustache from blowing out cigarette smoke through his nose for years.
Coincidentally, something you could totally get with your commissary from prison, too.
Is Hot Pockets?
For sure.
Oh, you have to.
Get Hot Pockets.
Right. And he'll be known. So if anyone fucks with him while he's eating a Hot Pocket, they'll know. They'll see him. They'll be like, don't fuck with Clifton. He's in here for shooting a guy in the ass. That's like a good down south story to me. Look at that dude.
I might leave this up the rest.
Yeah, do it. This is the tribute to Clifton Williams this episode. He looks like Yogi Bear or something. He looks like a cartoon bear. Maybe he is. Maybe he's the spin-off to Yogi Bear. He just comes out and he's like, "Hey, boo-boo, we need some fucking Hot Pockets. Go shoot that guy in the ass over there." I don't know, guys. That's like a good down south story, though. You hear a story about some old man in the South. You know, he's sitting around with all his buddies, and they're like, "Remember that time Cliff over here shot his old roommate in the ass?"
Like, sounds fake.
Yeah.
A few years from now, the story will sound fake, but it's true.
Yeah, exactly. Those are stories you don't get anymore, guys. This is why we need to take care of our old people, because they're still providing for us. And if you're not doing that, then we can pretty much get rid of you in this society. But this guy, we got to keep him. We shouldn't lock him up. Give him a whole thing, a whole freezer full of Hot Pockets. Fuck it. Reward him. And get him a ticket to go see Taylor Swift. Now, there's one more guy that I want to talk to you guys about. He's a real, I guess you could call him revolutionary. Maybe that's the word. He's someone that's willing to fight for what he believes in, and he's going to do it in a way that everyone's going to see. He's a modern-day Che Guevara. Maybe we'll learn his name, but the headline is this. A Maryland Maryland Manson, has been carrying an AR-15 style rifle near a school bus stop. I like the headline because it says it like he's doing it right now. It says it like he's just been doing it, and people are like, "Don't worry about him. He's standing out here with an AR-15." So I guess this kid, Jaden McCordery, who's 20 years old, and we all know 20-year-olds for their phenomenal decision-making and experience. He's walking around this place in Maryland with a gun that it says is a protest against recent state gun control legislation. You don't want to fuck around with a young kid from some buttfuck town that nobody's ever heard of. You don't want to mess with him and his guns, because that's all that kid has. That kid's going to sit in his house and clean his guns. He's going to talk to his guns. He's going to put a funny hat on his guns. He barely has friends. This kid he's ready to do this. And what I love about this is the next line says, police say his actions are legal. I love that. I love that a few minutes ago we were talking about a woman who was mailing out body parts, and there was no clear-cut distinction that what she was doing was illegal with the body parts. It was more about her lying about what she was mailing, which I feel like I've done at some point.
You've mailed a body part?
Well, no, but probably lied about what I was mailing to somebody. Or at least been in part of a transaction like that. But I love that what this kid's doing, they say his actions are legal. Now, let's get into what he's really doing here. So this is a quote from him. "Guns can be safe if it's controlled by the right person." He added, "I really wasn't coming out here for the kids. I was coming out here to show people that this is legal." Well, thank God you weren't coming out there for the kids. I mean, What the fuck? They probably saw that and were like, oh, finally our school's going to be known for something. Finally, we can get one of these guys to come in and start fucking people up, and we can be in the news, goddammit. We want a mural. We want to go see the president. We want these things to happen to us. So finally, they probably looked at that kid, 20-year-old Jaden, walking around with a gun outside their bus stop saying, finally, here's our guardian angel. Our golden soul that is going to bring us to the top of the media cycle. And he kind of is in a way. So he took issue with Maryland's Gun Safety Act of 2023, which was enacted on Tuesday. It states that a person is no longer allowed to carry a firearm in a school, healthcare facility, or a place licensed to sell alcohol or cannabis, such as a stadium, museum, or racetrack. Yeah, you wouldn't want to go see your sick grandmother in a hospital and not have your Glock 19 ready to go. You wouldn't want to. What about the idea of living in a place where you're worried if you don't have that?
Maryland's probably one of them.
Sure, Baltimore. I don't know how close this place is to Baltimore, but I know Baltimore being one of the worst places to live. But no one ever talks about that. No one ever talks about, you don't want to. You're taking away my right for me to bring a gun in a place knowing that anywhere you go, someone can pull out a gun and start killing people. No one ever thinks about that. It's like this self-fulfilling right that people are worried about. Well, what if some guy comes in here with a gun? I want to have my gun. What if you're the guy who's doing the killing? Like, I don't know. It's obviously a murky fucking thing. I don't know how Maryland is politically. Apparently, they want to tone down the guns in the area, and this kid's saying, nope. This kid's saying, this is legal. I'm not in a school. I'm around people who work in a school. Can't go in a school with it, but you're right in the vicinity. You're right in the ballpark. Stand outside the bus stop and protect the kids. That's what he's doing. 20 years old. It's like, what was that kid? Kyle Rittenhouse. What he was doing was legal. He was going out there shooting people. I forgot where he was. Was it Oregon? Or somewhere.
It was Wisconsin?
Yeah. And he was, I guess, okay. Because he never got convicted of anything. He did that weird...
His story was he was just trying to get from point A to point B, and it happened to be riots, so he brought his rifle with him.
Got you. And he was walking around. I remember when that story first came out, everyone thought that it was a white guy shooting black people. I know I thought that's what it was. Because I think they kind of marketed it that way.
I think it was full-blown white-on-white crime.
I think it was. Which, if we're being honest, what's the big deal? I mean, that's what World War II was for the most part, aside from Japan's involvement. But one of the biggest wars and the greatest triumphs we've ever had was white-on-white crime.
Every world war, right?
All two of them, yeah. Yeah, it's just white people getting mad at other white people. Except, of course, again, with the Japanese. But, I mean, you got the Germans hating, obviously the Jewish people and the Polish people and France and all. It's all white people. They're just fucking up white people.
Fucking crazy white people.
And then they tried to fuck up the Russians, who are high-level white people. Of course, you can't fuck with them too much. And then America came in, and they're like, we're fucking up all you white people. All of you, because we got some other kinds of people that we can bring along, and they're faster than you.
We made sure of it.
Yeah. So what else? Scaring our kids. So here's what the governor said, or the office at least. Governor Westmore's office condemned McCaddery's behavior, adding that it will not change his views on gun control. Who would have thought that a kid walking around a bus stop with a gun in hopes to lighten up gun control would actually do the opposite? Scaring our kids and threatening our communities won't help make Maryland safe. The governor won't allow these tactics to stop his administration from taking common sense steps to protect our communities, the office said in a statement. Local families have been disturbed by McCordery's displays of his rifle near children. Little can be legally done to stop him, despite Maryland having some of the toughest gun laws in the country. So they already have a problem. So maybe, I mean, I don't know. This is just an idea. Maybe Jaden should move. Maybe he should go to, Texas right? Everyone wants to go to Texas. Go to Montana. Go to where there's no... Yeah, go to where there's no... It's literally just your constitutional right. That's it. There's no... You don't got to get a license. There's no liberal fucking bullshit nonsense. Get out of Maryland, kid. Stop scaring the kids with your gun. I mean, it'd be good if these kids learned a little bit about people walking around with guns. I feel like that'd be nice. Because it's going to happen anyway. They got to be ready for it. There's going to be mayhem in the streets and chaos. And with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for listening. I think our camera's going to die pretty soon. So I don't mind wrapping it up around this time. Fuck it. I think we had fun. Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Dates, what do we got? I got a show in Brooklyn June 14th. I got a show at Mohegan Sun June 15th. And then I think I have one more at the end of the month in Staten Island. Nobody go to that one because who the fuck wants to go to Staten Island? Yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Peace.